Greetings, everybody. This is Gerald Clark. On the end of the month, Gravity Body Academy student office hour. So I guess I got to invite people here to get everybody to come in. Let's see how we do this. Let me invite Renee and Zechariah and Mark, and Krista, Rex. Who else? Let's get Mark Angelo Cummings, Kenny Bucci, Ernie, Matt Belair, my mom. Let's see, who else? Oh, these are the members of the group. I wonder if I could just tell you to invite everybody. That would sure be a lot easier. Okay, there's Betty. Let's get Betty in there. John Clee, Donnie Buswell, Ian Jacklin. Let's see, we'll bring Martin Wood in, Matt LaCroix, and then Jesus, Alicia New. Were you going to get the rest of them? Okay. Chris is going to join me and she's going to help me get the rest of these. Hi. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. All right. So this is our first test going live on Facebook. I'm not sure what the bandwidth is going to look like, but we'll go for a while. And this might be, yeah. There we go. Justin's here. Hey, Justin. Yeah. I don't know how this works in terms of people being able to chat or share things, so we'll play with it and see what happens. But if you have questions, be sure and post them in the little chat there, and we'll try to answer any questions. I do want to update people with a link that I just got for possibly housing, if anybody is interested in that. Let me remind you, on March 4th, we're going to start a Gravity Body Academy on-site. I guess you could call it a basic training course for students that want to come and do this work with us directly. Oh, thanks for posting that. So there's that link I just posted has temporary housing that's relatively affordable, and the prices are generally posted per night, and you can get a better deal if you get a monthly rate, for instance. So we'll get a little bit more detail on some of the ones that are available for a monthly rate and see what it comes out to, but it'd be relatively affordable, especially if people are willing to share a place there. So we went down there today and checked, and it looks like everything's pretty available. So
there's a pool and
yeah, talk about where it is and what's there.
There's a pool and a sauna, and then of course they have the lake right there. So they have you can go down and see the lighthouse and the lake, so you can see beautiful sunrises and some nice feng shui and a beautiful big park. So there's a lot of room to get around, and there's also a place where you can eat if you don't want to make food. So there's options, and easy to get a taxi too.
And best of all, here, if you want to build a fire out next to the lighthouse at night and sit out there and do whatever you want to do, ain't nobody going to say a word to you. So that's one of the nice things about down here. Actually, it's good and bad. There don't seem to be any noise or air quality regulations to really speak of. I know they have their car checked every year, but if you want to start a fire anywhere, anytime, it's okay. So it's interesting. But so we've just as an update on the school, we've had several new people come into the online course. We've allocated 24 slots for people if they want to come be with us. We need an even number, so somehow either somebody's going to be a model or they're going to get teamed up with somebody so that we have an even number. And right now, it looks like we've got. Oh, okay. Evan Richard just joined us. Great. Hi, Evan. And I wanted to say a little shout out to Justin. I had a long conversation with Justin Pilchner yesterday, and his I don't know, is she or Alma Gamella yet? Justin, I'm not, his compadre, his companion, Lori, and we talked over some of the ideas of what we're going to be doing with the school coming up. Hi, Lori. It's good to see you here. So how's the video quality? We've never done live on Facebook before, so we're not sure how this is working out. You probably got to be closer to the mic too for them to hear you. But anyway, so on our end, it looks pretty clear, but I'm not sure what you guys are seeing. So maybe somebody chime in and tell us what the audio and the video quality look like, and maybe we'll do this more so that we can connect with the group a little easier. Let's see.
Sounds
Nothing but
good.
positive. Oh, awesome. Okay, thanks, Evan. How's the Evan or Justin or anybody that's on? Oh, it looks good. Okay, is it blocky or is it just looks good enough? It's good enough. Okay, if it looks too good, you see all the all the pores and everything that the HD camera picks up. So that's usually when we slide the screen away like this, right? You know, well, it's a little close there. So, okay, so we're starting to get all the pieces in place. We're definitely a go for March. For political situation, I know there's a lot of stuff you hear. For those in America, for those that hear, it's really scary and all that kind of stuff in Mexico. I would say it's a lot scarier in America, just so you know. We live in a kind of an area that's very tranquil. It's a farming community. It's more traditional Mexican than you're going to get in a tourist area, but we particularly like that. That's why we do it, and we did it also to kind of ensconce ourselves with people who only spoke Spanish because it helped us learn to speak better Spanish. So this little facility that we put a link up to, the Roca, it's called Club Roca Azul. It's within walking distance of our place, and it gets sometimes it gets high traffic events on the weekends, but normally right next to the lake there with all the different places you could stay. You could stay at a travel trailer. You could stay in a little cabana that holds 2 people. You could stay in a cabana that holds 12 people. They have all different varieties down there, and they have I don't know if you look at the site, they have a pretty nice pool, and the lake is up right now, so it's right next to the largest inland lake in Mexico. It looks like an ocean when you're standing next to it, but it's quite large, and it comes all the way up to the lighthouse and the dock at the Roca Azul Park right now, which is really great because all the water birds and all the different hyacinth and things that are growing in the water makes it look like a nature preserve. So it's really kind of a great place to meditate, do some yoga, and just be completely surrounded by nature. It's kind of nice.
And it was over 80 today.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So when we get up in the morning at about 6:30 or 7, it's like 50 degrees here right now, 49, 50, and by 10 o'clock it's probably 70. And then by noon, it's getting up into the 80s right now. So we're thinking about that and looked at the chart to see what the temperature is going to be like while everybody's down. And it's not much different than it is now. It actually, starting in January like this, at the end of January, we're now entering our warm, dry season. So there won't be any rain, and it'll just continue to get warmer from now until, well, about June 15th when the normal rainy season starts. So even though it's rainy season here, June 15th, it's still warm. So it's nice that it's warm when it rains. Let's see, do we have any questions? Okay. You guys got any questions? Any questions about the course content, testing, the on-site class, any issues about contraindications doing the work, or just any other general questions? We'll be glad to answer them. Oh, yeah, actually, we can probably share this screen and go over. I brought the website up here. Oh, no thanks. And we could do that. Does that work? How does it work? Oh, I think you had to share the screen from the beginning. I'm not sure how you can do it once you're live. So anyway, so kind of the way it's going to work is if we had 24 people, we would probably end up creating 2 groups and doing 12 people at a time, Monday and Wednesday for the first group and Tuesday and Thursday for the second group. If we only get enough for one group, which is 12 people or less, then we'll meet on Monday and Wednesday, and the rest of the time, there might be a discussion or things like that, but the rest of the time is mostly going to be free for you to go on a group tour if you want. Justin mention that he's run tours before, and we have some sites in the area that if people wanted to go on a little jaunt somewhere, they totally could. And even over the weekend, you have enough time to bus down to the beach, down to La Manzanilla or Manzanillo or Puerto Vallarta. That's only about 3 hours from us. Manzanillo. Okay, Manzanillo is about 3 hours. So it's very pretty if people want to have that experience. And for that matter, you can fly from Guadalajara to anywhere else in Mexico really easily. It's very inexpensive. It's kind of like traveling in America in the 80s. It's really chill. And if you want to go see some pyramids down the Yucatan, you could, or just whatever. So there'll be plenty of time for that. But and also for those that are here, what we'll do is Chris and I are gonna be there every day of the class, the whole time. And what's gonna happen is we'll start out in the morning. We're both gonna do a demo, and we'll probably do it on either at the same time, if you want to watch two different ones at the same time, but we'll do a body reading independently of the models. Then we'll do the models while everybody gets a chance to see it. And then everybody's going to pair up, and one practitioner is going to administer the process to the other while we're cruising around, being available for any questions you might have. And then you reverse and hopefully be done by 5 p.m. It's still nice and warm by 5 p.m. So if you're and the sun's up and things like that, so it won't be a concern about temperature. But I don't know about you. I really like it warm when I'm getting body work. So so what else? Let's see. Okay, looks like it's coming through okay.
And we can also do yoga together and share meals and stuff like that.
Yeah, talk about that. Maybe about some transportation stuff. We have a local agent that helps us with all kinds of issues. So if we need to get bikes, rental scooters, whatever, we can do that. And there's plenty of stuff available to do that. And there's also a very large expat community here around where we live. So if somebody wants to go have a full-on kind of an expat experience, whether you're from Canada or America or France or Germany, there's a lot of those here. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it's statistically still correct, but I saw that there were upwards near 80,000 expats living around Lake Chapala. And they concentrate in certain areas. Some of them live in Chapala itself, the city of Chapala, it's got a lot of features. There's a lot of stuff to do at Chapala, a lot of events, festivals, and things like that. The Huichol people, which is an indigenous tribe that comes down to the city. They sell a lot of their wares in Chapala, a lot of clothing and things like that they made themselves. It's pretty awesome. And then in the city just right before it, and both of them are about 24 kilometers from where we are. So it's not that far. There's a small city called Ajijic that has a Walmart, has a theater, has a AutoZone, Burger Kings, all the kind of chain stuff you'd expect to see in America. So there's a lot of expats that live over in that vicinity as well. So and of course the kind of restaurants and things that cater to expats are there if you're interested in that. So you want to talk about food, about getting meals and things like that while they're here?
Well, the town itself that we live in is pretty small, but you can buy food really inexpensively. So for instance, if you wanted to get upwards of 4 bags of groceries, you can get it for like $20 for fresh food. And then if you get dry goods, then that's a little bit more, like your nuts and stuff like that. And we do a lot of we mostly cook all of our meals, so that's kind of how we roll. But there are restaurants in town, and you know, whatever your dietary preference is, usually you can figure it out if you're creative.
Yeah, it's actually surprising. Talk about the amounts of different varieties of fresh fruit and vegetables. It's actually, I don't know how many different varieties of bananas there are here.
I don't know. There's like 4 different varieties of bananas and mangoes, and it's seasonal, you know. So sometimes the avocados, and we have an avocado tree, but I don't think it'll be ripe when you guys come.
No, it won't be ready till August or September. Yeah.
Do you want to maybe talk more about structure of school?
Well, are there questions that you guys have? We're sitting here hanging out, you know, making up conversation while we try to think, you know, how we can serve you. Were there questions about the actual online course, about how the anatomy and physiology is set up versus the structural integration classes? Talk about the classes, how they're set up. About I do one, you do one, and what no, I'll talk about mine. Okay. I'll talk about how I did the sessions for the online course versus what Krista did. So we always started by doing a client view reading, body reading. We could have done some more like movement analysis, normally taking a walk and then seeing how the whole structure is moving is a good way to start. But so you can see behind me, we have the new gravity body charts in. Let me point it up there. Okay. So, and then you can see my plumb bob kind of hung around the corner, and basically it's just attached to the ceiling there on a string. Okay. Okay. And then I highly recommend at least going through once and figuring out how to put your chart up, mounting your camera, and then aligning the camera with the center line of the grid chart. So while I'm speaking of that, I guess I'll just show you what I did on my wall. I'll turn the camera around.
Oh, that's the camera there.
Okay, yeah, so you can see the camera mounted on the wall.
So here's the camera mounted, and that never gets moved.
Right.
So that way you can get the nice before and after pictures, like you saw recently of Jesus.
There's the Gravity Body Academy school. I didn't turn the share button on, so apparently I can't do that, but I can do it with the camera.
I can, yeah, I'll scroll through it for you guys. Here you
go. So there's the site for everyone. Let me talk a little bit about testing. I didn't really mention too much about that. So as far as the anatomy and physiology goes, essentially we created that as a separate piece for people who haven't had any anatomy and physiology before they jump right into structure work. And that's, we could have gone a lot deeper, but from my experience, what I gave people in there was the lingo, the terms, and the concepts that are commonly used in structural integration without saying, well, you've got to have 250 hours sitting around in a classroom to get this, okay? Get it as fast as you can get it. And there's a test that goes with that if you want to have a certificate to show that you completed that, okay? And both the tests are downloadable and you can run them from your computer. I think one of them might have links to some pictures online, so you'll have to have an internet connection. I got to look at that. But if it does, I can switch it so you can run it strictly online without having an internet connection. The tests are written in JavaScript, so they're automated. Basically, you double click on the HTML application to run them, and it's open book. There's no time. Take as many times as you want to get it right. The test won't give you a certificate until all the questions are answered correctly. The first test has 50 questions. I think it's broken up into 25 on the muscles, 25 on the bones, and then well, let's talk about it. So while you're taking the test, it kind of grades it for you. It'll show you if you missed one, and if you get all the way to the end where the testing section is, and you say grade the test, it'll actually show you every one that you missed and what percentage you got right. So at that point, if you missed any, just take note of what you missed and go back, hit F5, refresh the window, and take it again. And when you get it right, it'll actually automatically bring up the certificate and say, congratulations, you passed, blah, blah, like that. And at that point, it'll take your name and the date, or it'll get the date from your computer system, okay? So if your computer system is right, the time's right, the date and time is right, it's gonna take it from there. And so however you want your name displayed on the certificate is the way you need to enter it in the test. And if you get to the end and you realize, I want to change the way my name looks, you can change it in the beginning of the test where the input sections are. Okay, so if you want your first initial capitalized and the rest of it not, or however, you want your last name first, whatever you want, you can do that. Okay, and then once that's created, you want to capture that or print it to, I set it up so you can print it as well if you want to print it to some high quality photo paper or whatever, or just some antique, legal graduate looking paper, and then put it in a frame, whatever you want. But that's really for you, okay? And what I want you guys to do is when you get your certificates, let us know that you're done so we can get a picture of it or something, and we can put you on the website, on the Gravity Body Academy website. We'll create a place with a search engine so people can look and go, okay, what state are you in? Are you near me? That kind of thing. And your contact information so they can reach you. Okay. So what else? Oh, let's talk about the session notes that we put in there in the handbook.
Oh, so there's his video that shows how to do the session, and it's uncut, so you get the entire 2 hours. And then I do the session to him, and it's a little bit more of a recap, just a little bit more of my editing style, I guess. And then that way it's not too redundant. So then we have both of those videos. You get 20 videos, and then in addition to that, then there's also a downloadable handbook, and it has session notes, and it has Gerald's wonderful notes that honestly you could look at those notes and then go and use that for your session once you're comfortable and know what to do,
and know the terminology
and
right.
Everything. And then there's also mine, and it's in my speak. So then there's also my notes as well, and then of course you'll take your own notes hopefully, and then you'll have your notes as well.
Yeah, so inside the handbook, our notes are there per session, in a it's kind of in a what would you call it, a procedural form, and it's kind of organized. It's like each one uses the same organization. So what are the key bony landmarks? What is the process? What's the client orientation? And in each of them are set up that way, so you can look at it very quickly and go, oh yeah, I got to go here, 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 and this is what my goals are, my objectives, and the key objectives per session. So that's very helpful. And so I have a full set of notes in the handbook for that, that you can start with and use. And then Christa has her version as well. And Christa completed this process, I guess it was in 2010, 11, right? Yeah, 2011. So she's been doing it a while as well, and she takes different notes and has more of a woman's perspective, which is very helpful. And it is, as speaking of that, when she did her videos, she still used multiple camera angles and all that, like we did on my sessions. But instead of just recording it raw straight through, she would put it on 10x speed at certain places where it's kind of boring to watch, moving really slow in structure work. And she would add narration and commentary to that. So she made it more of like a recipe style, I guess you would say, like you do with food videos. So if you have those two and you can see them, you could both get a perspective of how we do this work, even though we're both following our own recipes, okay, that we created. Okay, so what we're encouraging you to do is watch what we're doing, understand the principles, and if you can write it in a way that makes more sense, that helps you out, then do that for yourself, and you'll end up using your notes as the guideline. And that's the thing about a recipe, is we don't want you replicating exactly what we're doing. Every body is different, but in general, the principles of the Rolf 10 series recipe work if you do them correctly. So it's good to start out by doing this work via recipe where you don't miss anything, and then over time you're gonna figure out, as you're doing this recipe, what really works for that particular person and what technique that you have in your arsenal that is going to deal with what they got going on. And it's different with every person, right? So yeah, actually I posted something today. I was going to let you guys know, one of the things Ida Rolf discovered in her process of trying to figure out this recipe was she met an osteopath in Germany when she was looking for a solution to change the human body so her kid with polio could be healed. And when she ran into this osteopath in Germany, they had a term for dealing with the hardening of the connective tissue over time. They called it connective tissue de-armoring. That was the title they had given to it. And I was thinking about that today. I was like, connective tissue where it crosses the bone can get so hard that you actually think it's bone over time. And you'd be surprised where those impact points are, where the fascia crosses those bony margins, especially like in the early sessions. how once that gets loosened up, that actually there's more freedom than you could have ever imagined possible just from the superficial fascia, and where the fascia is impacted and fused on the bony margins. So um, that's one of the reasons we like to describe the work as being done kind of like layers of an onion. You must start from the outside before you go deep. The investing layer of the fascia communicates with the superficial fascia. So if you try to go after the deep stuff early without dealing with the surface, you're going to poke holes in and make the client uncomfortable. So you got to be aware of what layer you're working in, and it's usually the layer that makes itself available. That's generally how it happens. So there's an old saying, you never step in the same river twice. Well, it's true with the client's body too, because whatever you did last time in the last session, this next time there's going to be changes. So there'll be different things available than what you had before. Right, Justin? Yeah. Okay. Let's see, who do we have here? We only have a couple people. Not sure why. Probably because I didn't announce that I was going to do this. But every month, end of the month at 5 o'clock, I'm going to do this. And I guess it seems a lot easier to do it to the group directly like this on Facebook than it is to invite people to come use a tool that they've never used like Zoom. So we maybe do this for now. Okay, well, listen, if there aren't any other questions, we've been on for about half an hour, and we'll let you guys get on back to your evening or wherever you are. So you want to say anything else, Krista?
No, we hope to see you in March, and thank you all for joining.
Yeah, definitely don't miss this event in March. We may not plan another one for a while, depending on what goes on with the online school. And we only started this hands-on thing for people who, in supplement to learning, like if you have a couple, 2 people that want to do this, learn this work together and administer it to each other, well, you've got somebody who can give and receive. You don't really need to go outside to have a hands-on experience, although it's highly beneficial to experience it once from somebody who's trained so that you know what you're looking for. But through the online experience, I have no doubt that you can discover this on your own. Am I right?
Right.
As a matter of fact, if you can learn Tai Chi, Qi Gong, and Bruce Lee's moves online, which people have done, I think you can learn to do this process. It's not that hard. We're only talking about 10 sessions here. And then later on, I wanted to say we'll add some intermediate and some advanced coursework as well. But for now, since it's new, it's one of the first online schools that goes start to end to completion. I know there's some people that have recorded their 10 series online, and they're selling that material. I don't discourage people from looking at it, but if they're not going to have a testing system and a standard to graduate you so that you're out ready to do the community service, then you're going to fall into licensure. And that's the other issue here is that we want to probably talk about is we don't support licensure. Imagine somebody asking Jesus to get a permit to put his hands on someone and heal them. That's what we're up against right now, basically, such that unless you're under licensure, at least in the United States, you can't touch a body. It's against the law. And I don't believe that. I'm not down with that. And no authority figure is going to stand between me and a client who wants to be healed in any way, shape, or form. That's why we do it by donation. So if they've consented to get the work, we're going to give it to them, and we're not going to worry about injuring them and having to be insured and all these other ridiculous things. Over the entire time I was a structural integrator, I paid for ABMP body insurance just in case somebody got hurt or blah blah blah. It was a complete waste of money. There was not one person I ever knew of that was hurt in structural integration such that they needed to be insured against it. That's the truth. So, and it all comes down, we were talking about, Krista and I were talking about this today. The idea of insurance in and of itself is not something I'm really down with. Life insurance is the worst of all. But we were talking today, if you had an accident and you damaged the other person's vehicle, the honorable thing to do is talk to them right there. I'm responsible I did that. How much is it going to take to fix it? You tell me, and here's my number, and here's a down payment to make sure, I want to fix that because it was my fault. You operate like that, there's no reason for insurance, ever, right? So from that standpoint, I don't really support that. If you want to go get ABNP insurance so that nobody sues you as a body worker, go ahead. I will never do it again, though. I can tell you that now. So, and as far as getting a permit to do this work, I want you to look into what it means to be a community servant. That means you're a minister, okay? And that terminology is very specific. It has legal ramifications for you. We're ordaining our graduates as ministers. That's why that certificate from the Structural Integration School is so important. The ordination declaration is on the certificate. It's in writing. And once you've been ordained a minister, you can ordain someone else as a minister, okay? That's how it works. And that ordination allows you to work as a minister without going and seeking a permit, no membership to anybody else regulating you, telling you what to do. It's your spiritual practice. It's between you, your higher self, and their higher self, and and their meat modem, okay? That's it. And if you do this work and they like what you're doing, that word's going to spread and you're going to get a lot more clients. That's a fact. And, you know, as a matter of fact, that's what we were told was our marketing plan when I was in structure school. That's all you have to do. Well, it's a little more sophisticated than that now. I recommend people having a website, you know, what services you're offering, all those kind of things. But I have to tell you, word of mouth is how your business is going to grow and spread. Definitely is how it works, especially in this space. So, okay, well, listen, I'm gonna let everybody go. We're really excited about both offerings, and everybody else that wants to be part of a community service spiritual practice that not only changes other lives, but will put you on the freight train, actually a bullet train. Freight trains are old, right? They're not fast. Yeah. Maglev train, put you on the maglev train to your own personal evolution of consciousness. And that's that's the game we're all playing, right? So, all right, this has been Gerald Clark with Gravity Body Academy
and Krista.
and Krista. So we'll see you guys shortly. Hopefully by the next class office hour, we'll have more people to talk to, and we'll catch up. Be good, guys.